As we approached Loch Ness, the weather took an interesting turn. While the rain never stopped, the wind died down and instead the landscape was shrouded in fog. Upon arriving at Loch Ness, we barely had any hope of spotting Nessie in the water. Fortunately, the fog receded just enough for us to see all across to the opposite shore, allowing us to search the water as thoroughly as possible. We spent a week there filming Loch Ness, but we were out of luck. The weather remained the same, and the Loch Ness monster never showed up. It was then that fortune smiled upon us, as one of the locals directed us to an expert on Nessie. This courageous man living by a duck pond is Duncan, a Scottish former tour guide, retired after he was struck by lightning and turned deaf-mute. He enthusiastically showed us everything he had on Loch Ness, mostly memorabilia from his days as a tour guide, though we had no one on hand to translate his explanation. Duncan was kind enough to sell us some of his collection, and we parted ways as we realized that Nessie has remained elusive for 1500 years with good reason. We left Scotland under uncommonly sunny skies, filled with disappointedly cloudy feelings. Such a long journey to find the Loch Ness monster, and all we had to show for it was a handful of souvenirs. Yet not all hope is lost, for Professor Van der Bishop has revealed that Duncan's souvenirs are much more than they appear. Let's talk about Loch Ness, Professor. Why do you think we failed to find Nessie?
The Loch Ness monster is as elusive as a koala. It very rarely surfaces. Your mistake, Bob, was the same as you made in the swamps of Australia. You did not go deep enough.
We lacked the equipment, but we were there for an entire week filming 24/7. If Nessie is like a koala, as you say, an amphibious animal, then she needs to surface for oxygen every once in a while. Yet in the span of a week she did not do that. Why is that? Why didn't she surface?
That's because you underestimate Nessie's lung capacity. She can hold her breath for hundreds of years. She may not surface in our lifetime.
Wow, that is some impressive lung size. Professor, let's talk about Duncan.
Duncan, yeah, brave man, living next to a duck pond.
Oh yes. In any case, Professor, you've seen the footage and you happen to know sign language. We will show the clip again. Could you please provide a translation for our audience?
Of course.
Wonderful.
Duncan is explaining the mating habits of the Loch Ness monster. The twisting motion symbolizes the act of mating. The item on his right is a fossil of a male Loch Ness monster. The one on his left is a fossil of a female. He says the pair were mating right when they were crushed by a rock, and the female fossil is in fact pregnant.
Fossils. You heard that right, ladies and gentlemen. These are not mere memorabilia. These are fossils of the Loch Ness monster.
Indeed.
So what we have here is a discovery of epic historical significance. Professor, you have just proven that the Loch Ness monster is real. Congratulations.
Bob, honestly, should we be satisfied with something so simple?
Simple? These are fossils that prove the Loch Ness monster's existence. What could be better than that?
Cloning the Loch Ness monster, of course.
You want to clone Nessie? Are you serious?
I am an expert on gene splicing, and you have fossils containing Nessie's DNA. If we team up, we can easily acquire hundreds of millions worth of research funding for a 5-year project, and then...
Is that a siren I hear, Professor?
No, that was my kettle. Yeah, it makes this sound when the water boils. I have to go, but it was really nice to be back on the show. Bye.
Professor? Professor? Well, that does it for Koala Hunting, the quest for the Loch Ness Monster. The Professor and I will be back on the next special episode of Koala Hunting, discussing the next member of the extended family of koalas, Godzilla. Stay tuned.